Hello guys, this is a pre-market analysis. So first, let me talk about the positive factors and negative factors, and then I will explain. So those who just want to listen to only the important factors which are going to decide the market today, that will be helpful. And whatever your analysis, you can also let me know if I'm missing something. You can add that to the comments. Okay. So the positive factors, if you see, U.S. markets have performed very well, and the macroeconomic data, Indian macroeconomic data, which came yesterday, that is also looking good. And then strong manufacturing numbers, better industrial output data, positive momentum, which you have seen in IT stocks yesterday. Infosys was doing good, even though Bank Nifty was dragging like anything, but Nifty was doing good. Nifty IT was doing good. So it could be a kind of sector rotation because Nifty IT and Bank Nifty, they normally, go like this only. So if one is positive, the other is going to be negative. Both cannot be strongly negative. If both is strongly negative, Nifty will be crashing like anything. Similarly, both is not going to be strongly positive. In that case, Nifty also will be very strong. Rarely only you'll be seeing that. So if you need to adjust Nifty, it will be like if Bank Nifty is coming down, Nifty IT will be either stable, or it will be positive, or it will be slightly down only. Right. So this is how it is. And yesterday, IT, if you see, it is positive, and Infosys was doing good. So all those positivity is there. Now coming to negative factor, the most important one at this moment and for quite some time, that's the US Iran tension. I'll discuss the updates on that and continued FII selling. You remember Friday they sold for 21,000 crore, and people talk about MSCI rebalancing and all, but that's not a convincing reason. Uh, and yesterday, if you see, they sold around 3,000 crore. I'll come to that. And weak monsoon concerns. See our agriculture. I'll explain this further later. But one thing you need to understand is if monsoon is going to be weak this year, as per the forecast, and that's what expectation, then we are going to struggle like anything in the upcoming days because of inflation. So last year, mainly inflation is controlled because food inflation was not there, food prices were less, but that won't be the case now. On one side, because of monsoon, our agriculture completely depending upon monsoon, right? So if weak monsoon is there, means agricultural output will be less. Now already there are multiple issues like fuel cost is increasing, so transportation issues there. Fertilizer cost is almost now 50% is higher because of this tension. So because of all these, the productivity will come down and production also will come down, and we are going to face very high inflation, not good inflation, very high inflation because of food, and that won't be in your control. No monetary policy, no fiscal policy control the inflation, which is caused by food and which is because of inflation, which is because of import related aspect. Now here, if agriculture prices going up, means it is because of weak monsoon. No monetary policy, no fiscal policy, no government policy can control this. Only monsoon has to be proper, because we are heavily dependent on monsoon for our agriculture. Secondly, if something related to import, that is again not in our control. What RBI can do with your monetary policy, or what government can do with the fiscal policy if crude oil price is increasing. It is, we are completely again dependent on the import of crude oil. So import, we have no control. We are completely dependent on that, and that price is not in our control. Fertilizer cost is also increasing. So that may be through subsidies, even if you manage, but still the crude oil price and this one, so this is going to make a big impact, and we are yet to see the actual the war related issue. Even US Iran tension, US don't have much tension. Even Iran also, we have much more. What we are going to see, the way the millions and the billions of population is going to be affected, we'll be seeing that in another 6 months. So again, if you look at the another negative factor, if you see, that's the very negative price action is what you see. Despite all these positive data, despite US market is doing good, European markets are doing good, US markets are at fresh all-time high, but our market is showing that weakness. And of course, expiry related volatility will be there today. So these are the negative factor. And the biggest concern is at this point of time, despite all these domestic and global data, which are looking on the positive side, except the US Iran tension, the our Nifty continued to slide. Nifty have from 24,000, Nifty have broken 23,800. Okay, 23,800, that's a small profit booking at 24,000, fine. 23,500 has been broken, 23,400 has been broken, and closed at around 23,379. And when you saw that big candle on Friday, everyone thought that it is MSCI rebalancing and a technical bounce at least will be possible. But what is happening? You got a small bounce that again got solved into. So things are not actually good. This is what the scenario. Now, based on this, you can interpret and you can trade. It will be, you can get bounce here and there because of expiry, but at the same time, sell on rise could be the, our market is weak. So at this moment, there can be technical bounce. Market is looking oversold also. So technical bounce will be there, but overall, the market is very weak. When you see other markets are performing very good, but your market is showing this kind of weakness, means you keep getting sell off whenever you get the bounce. Apart from that, the tension is also there. And if you see yesterday during market hours also, there were aggressive statements from US, and the crude price was increasing, and that also affected our market. So any negativity in the world market is going to affect us very badly, but even world market is positive, then also we are going negative. That is also something which you need to keep in mind. So if you ask me what to do, it will be better to wait for a bounce to sell. Any bounce definitely is getting solved, that's for sure. You cannot get a continuous bounce. That's something which you need to focus on. Buying dips is difficult. It looks like buying dips is difficult, and that's not rewarding also, unless you get an aggressive candle on the upside. So the tension now, US Iran tension yesterday during the market hours also, US Central Command, they have posted something like US Air Force is deploying F-16 fighter jets to the Middle East. And then after some time, they've also announced the self-defense strikes have been done, on Iranian radar sites, Iranian drone control facilities, and all. And because of these actions, and these actions are mainly because Iran shooting down a US drone. And that is in the international waters during the weekend. And as a response to that, US have deployed this F-16 fighter jets and all those. Right. And because of this itself, we have seen that reaction on the oil price. Oil price have moved from, it was around 91 to almost 94 per barrel, Brent crude. And this volatility was there throughout the session. And we have seen later another 3% has been spiked. And then it is corrected of almost 1 to 2%. But still, oil price is something which is at an elevated level. WTI is around 92.3 and Brent is around 95.3, which is again good. Just that it is below 100, which is psychological level, but it is much, much higher even now also. And this negotiation is also going on. And this US military strikes is continuing. Israel also intensified its operations in Lebanon, which is against the ceasefire, and Iran is claiming that this is a ceasefire violation. So there are reports that Israel expanded the operations in southern Lebanon and seized some additional territory of Lebanon also. I'm not sure about the reality, but there are reports, and Iran media also stated that all negotiation with US at this moment has been suspended because US and Israel, they violated the ceasefire agreement. There is some firing, there is some retaliations and all which is going on. And that actually pushed the oil prices higher. And then response of Trump in this case, Trump later stated that he had not received any official notification that the talk has been suspended. And he also posted negotiations are continuing rapidly. So this actually creating confusion. And because of that itself, again, oil price, I told you, there was a dip of 1 to 2%. Because of this, the dip has came. Now, if you look at US market performance, despite all these geopolitical tension, US manufacturing PMI came around 54, and this was very much higher than the expectation, higher than April also. And Nvidia also was doing good. Nvidia, in fact, gave a move of almost 5% upside. Because of that, S&P 500, closed above 7,600 for the first time ever, fresh all-time high. And Nasdaq up by 1.42, mainly because of Nvidia, and Dow Jones marginally positive. So US market is looking very clearly positive. But VIX also increased and moved around 16%. VIX around 5% hike is there. If you look at GIFT Nifty is around 23,270 level. Yeah. So that is indicating around 150 point gap down again. So let's see what is going to happen. You may get 100 to 150 point gap down. So 23,270 means it is going to be 20. Nifty is going to open around 23,200. So closes at 379. So 200 means around 150 to 200, or at least even if you adjust it with all the liquidity and everything, minimum 100-point gap down is what actually you are looking for. It's not looking good. It's looking very weak only. So again, if you look at ADR performance, banking ADRs closed negative, that we have seen in Indian market also just continued. And IT ADRs, as we have seen in India also yesterday, it was very positive, and ADR also closed positive. So if you see, in fact, IT ADRs outperformed the Indian market performance also, which means there is a good positive momentum which is continuing and coming in IT stock. There could be sector rotation, and this could be value buying also at the lower level. As I told you, Indian macro data is positive. I'm not getting much into that. Industrial output data, IIP data is positive. That's around 4.9, which is higher than March and higher than expectation, which is a very good data. And in that sector wise, breakdowns and all, which is not required for us. We just need to know that macro data is good, but the market is not reacting to all these at this point of time. Market is looking at, our other scenarios, right, that we have already discussed. Even auto sector data also, most of the automobile manufacturers, their May sales, if you see, it looks healthy. Market also reacted to that. Auto sector was doing good. And coming to fiscal deficit is 4.4% of GDP. That is again in line with government target, which is again very good. So if you look at the economic data, macroeconomic data, positive data, manufacturing PMI is looking good, industrial production is looking good, capital goods output is looking good, fiscal deficit is fine, which is a government target. Though deficit is there, but it is within the target only. Like we say, inflation is there, but within the control. Similarly, fiscal deficit is also within that band, 3% plus or minus 2, I think, right? So still Nifty continue to fall, and that is one of the major issue. Again, if you look at FIIs, they sold for 3,800 crore. DIIs bought for 5,000 crore. So there is a net buying almost 1,200 crore. Then who sold like this? So if you look at FII and DII, 3,800 crore FII sold, yes. 3,800 crore plus 1,200 crore DII is bought. So there is a net institutions, if you see, 1,200 crore. But then who dragged the market like this? Right, Nifty still fell more than 150 points. So as I told you, there are positives like US market positive, Indian macro data is positive, IT ADR is positive, momentum is there, industrial output is positive, but negatives are geopolitical tension, monsoon concern. That's rarely people are discussing about that, but this is going to be the single most biggest issue in the upcoming days. Persistent FII selling that is there for almost 2 years now. Market structure is also weak. Now Nifty expiry, there is a strong possibility that there can be high volatility because the positioning you see from 23,900 day before yesterday, now we are at 23,000. So 3 days we got a 1,000-point move. So there can be a short covering, which we can expect also because the positions will be at 23,500, 23,400, 23,800. It started with 23,800 and the adjustments. So it's looking slightly difficult and it can be very volatile. So be very careful. So and Sensex expiry is also coming. One of this is going to be very highly volatile. Apart from that, technicals, I think I have discussed yesterday. And today, irrespective of the technical, you are going to get an opening at around, 23,200 or even below means now 23,200 support is also gone. Then 23,000 is the important support. I don't think that will be broken today. If that is breaking, 22,800 is going to be the important level. So these are the things that I want to discuss. Okay, so yeah. So be very careful. As I told you, there are positives, there are negative, and sell on rise could be a better solution. But again, what rise? You need to get a bigger, better rise also if you need to sell confidently. Otherwise, it just take your stop loss and it will fall further on your side, and you'll have to just keep watching the same. Which is coming in your direction. So be very careful, be responsible, and trade accordingly. Have a strict stop loss, expiry day. Even if market is staying sideways, it will decay your premium. So be very careful and be mindful with all those and do well. See you.